All right, and we're live. Welcome back, everyone, to the HVAC 2.0 show. Tonight looks like it may just be me and Ted, but we're going to be kind of going over some likely load range and kind of the philosophy behind it, what it is, what it means, and why we feel like this is a more accurate way of kind of showcasing what someone's load of a house is actually. Ted kind of put together a good presentation here that I guess we can just get right into it and start kind of going over it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is a great presentation. It's certainly not going to be a Nate Adams level of slideshow, but maybe hopefully, we're able to communicate the thinking behind
Hmm.
using range instead of, Emmanuel J really is a point guess. And as a point guess, its likelihood of inaccuracy is very high.
Yes.
And so if you, particularly here, let me move this one up. Um, if you don't know infiltration, your load at design, which is represented on the far right and far left, can vary a lot. But if the house is tight and well insulated, as you can see with the red line here, the variation in your load is much smaller. So this basically is the amount that you're guessing. Um, is this a tight, pretty well performing house, or is it a loose, pretty poorly performing house? If it's a tight house, heating load be under 50,000. If it's a loose house, it might be 100,000.
Yep.
And if they're not paying you to do a blower door test or look at the insulation, then this is your range from 35 to 100,000. Um, and as we were thinking about that, um, I said it would look like a pyramid, but it also could be presented as a funnel. So if you think about this flipped over, this is a pyramid. And the way we look at likely load is you don't make a recommendation to somebody about the size of their equipment unless you have enough information that you're confident in the load. And our minimum requirement to have confidence in the load is what we call a comfort consult. So if you're doing anything less than a comfort consult, then what you want to do is provide people with education. And so as we were talking about likely load range and manual J precision, back when I was in home performance, you could use manual J if you got a lot of information to get a quite an accurate load. Um, but if you didn't get a tremendous amount of information, then you're going to be a whole lot less accurate. Again, going back to this slide. So without that information, you got to guess somewhere between here and here. And with that information, your variance is much tighter. So let me read this. If you don't measure, you're guessing, and the more you guess, the less confidence you can have in your accuracy. Manual J has things measured and things guessed. The more you measure, the more confidence you can have in your manual J. To represent this variance, think of a pyramid where the bottom represents a very wide range, and as you go up, confidence in your variance narrows. So manual J is basically a precision pyramid. We feel if your precision variance is greater than a ton, sizing decisions and risk should be left to the client. The manual J doesn't measure enough that contractors can be confident standing behind the manual J sizing recommendation. The variance is simply too wide. So how can if they don't have a blower door. So how can a contractor who doesn't have enough information about load convey this fact to homeowners? This is where we came up with likely load range. So we're going to build a path to quickly and easily convey this risk to the homeowner and offer more precision by offering the HVAC 2.0 Comfort Consult. By educating the homeowner about sizing and precision and offering a comfort consult, if the homeowner declines, we feel they have explicitly taken ownership of sizing risk. So,
Yeah,
and
which
then
I want to just add a little something to that, just to kind of, if you'll kind of go back to that last slide, another way to kind of reframe this is, there's so many factors that really goes into a load calculation. Like blower door is one of the bigger ones, which is why and it's something that if you're not testing that, it's a wild guess. Anybody that says they can look at a house and tell how leaky it is, that's a good indication that they are full of shit.
well,
Good litmus
so
test.
they're making an assertion based on ignorance.
Yes. And so what you can kind of do is, like, it's easy to go down the rabbit hole of going, okay, well, you have overall leakage. You have what is the actual, U value and solar heat gain coefficient of a window. How many windows do you have? How much insulation is the insulation even throughout? Is there missing insulation? What colors or how much shading do you have? Like, there's a bunch of factors that all it it can skew the load one way or another. And when you're
Does
doing
your does your ductwork leak to outside? Does it leak to
yes.
inside? Yeah.
Yes, yeah, duct leakage to outdoors, like all these things that play a huge role. Is when your system kicks on, does it go negative or does it stay neutral or a little bit positive? Like all these things play a huge factor to the load, and you're kind of left with really two questions, and it is how many things are needed to actually get it accurate, and where is the line in which you're okay? Where's the line of this is good enough to be accurate, and anything less than that is not worth pursuing. That's where the comfort consult is. That line is the comfort consult, where we are gathering enough information that you can feel extremely confident in the load that you're going to come to. And anything that is not comfort consult, all that from that point below is likely load range. And so the reason it's kind of going this direction is it's okay, well, now we have to accept that we're going to have some inaccuracies. Essentially, we don't know. If we can't do the comfort consult, we don't know. So then we're having to ask the question of how do we convey what your load could potentially be in a way that gives you enough information to make good choices without having to spend money for a comfort consult if it's needed or not. And so I kind of thought about like reframing it in that way to kind of understand like what is the actual purpose of the likely load range. You know, if okay, sure, a load calculation requires a lot to be accurate, but why not just do that each time? Or what point is it good enough or not good enough? And I feel like that's where we've kind of came to this conclusion of we have comfort consult, which is good enough to actually be accurate. And anything less than that, we're going likely load range. And here's another thing. You can actually, if you want to think of it, the likely load range can narrow up with the more information that you have. And so and again, that's the role that it's fit. We know we can't have full, complete understanding of what the load's going to be. So how do we convey that? Which has left us with likely load range.
So, and I put this together to explain a little bit about what HVAC 2.0 is and um, the steps involved, because we really put a lot of thought into putting these steps in a logical order so that the homeowner can be well enough educated that they're qualified to make these decisions. And as HVAC salesperson, it's our responsibility to provide them with enough information that they're qualified to make these decisions. And if we don't educate them, then whatever decision they made is based on incomplete information that they don't understand. So at HVAC 2.0, we feel the homeowner is and should be the ultimate decider of equipment type and size. It's their money, and ultimately they carry the lion's share of risk of their replacement decisions. We also feel it's our duty to do the best we can in educating homeowners about these risks they're taking when they replace their HVAC. The biggest risk we see is equipment functionality, equipment sizing to load, and equipment sizing to duct capacity. The 6 functions of HVAC really help them understand functionality. The most important equipment features we explain are single stage, 2-stage, variable speed, communicating, variable speed, and reheat, dehumidification. Without an understanding of these things, we don't feel they can make and own an educated decision about their replacement equipment features. And then likely load range, we found educating worst case load is best expressed to the homeowner as range. Again, this is the what our likely load range currently looks like. So the most important equipment features we explain, and then likely load range, educating, and then again, what you don't measure, you're guessing. When performing a load calculation, anything you guess at is best guessed at twice. A high and a low within a range of statistical probability. So if you see a 2,000 square foot house, you want to say, typically what we're seeing with these houses is a load within this range. So if this is a typical 2,000 square foot house, we've seen some that are, 0.5 leakage to air infiltration ratio. Sometimes those are less than 1 ton of load. And we know that this is true because we've got green speeds on these houses, and we're able to see where those green speeds have been running. And then if it's a really leaky house, they might need 3 ton. So, the more you guess on load inputs, the wider the range becomes. The more you measure, the narrower this load range becomes. Some items have a wide impact on load, like leakage, while other items have a small impact on load, like fenestration, for an example. I mean, windows tend to be between 5 and 15% of the building shell enclosure. So a window that has an R value of 1 versus a window that has an R value of 3, it's not going to make a huge difference on load. And then duct capacity. Some items that you can easily measure also have very distinct limiting factors on sizing decision. Possibly the greatest limiting factor is delivered BTU or airflow capacity of the ductwork. You want to make any comment about that, Tanner?
Yeah. Look,
It's an easy thing to measure.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier than doing a blower door.
Oh yeah. And especially if you've already been to the house before, if you've serviced the house before, hopefully you have captured static pressure. And if you have, it's one of those things that it's kind of a no-brainer test to do. Now it can be a little tricky if the system's not working, because then and it's an old system, or there's some factors there. But at the end of the day, it's how much cooling capacity is the ductwork capable of moving, because the system's going to be limited to the ductwork. Because anybody that's a service tech, you've probably heard the term airflow before charge. What does that mean? It means the charge is going to be dictated by the airflow, and both the airflow and the charge is going to dictate how much cooling capacity that system's going to be able to do. And so if the ductwork is constraining it immediately, well, let's say you have 2 tons of ductwork, like in this picture right here. We have a 3-ton system, but we have 2 tons of ductwork. Well, guess what? We can either put a 3-ton on it and get 2 tons of cooling and have a very strenuous 2 tons of cooling, or we can put a 2-ton on it and get 2 tons of cooling, but not be strenuous. So
Right. So
it's
you get 15 years of life out of the equipment instead of 5.
yeah, yeah. And so at the end of the day, like, you're still going to deliver the same amount of capacity, really, because of those limiting factors. It's just okay, well, if with all things being equal, and if we're not changing the ductwork, we're not making, big investments there.
Right.
We're
So
making
you might ask them the question, if they really want a 3-ton, do they want to spend ten to $20,000 on new ductwork, or would they rather,
yeah,
or if they were comfortable before, it's likely they were getting 2-ton of delivered capacity through that 2-ton of ductwork, and you could do measure quick, and you could do measure quick and true flow, and give them both those reports, which will explain to them exactly how much capacity they were getting. So they'll be like, "Oh, so I had a 3-ton system all along, but it was only delivering 2-ton of I was only getting 2-ton of delivered capacity, and I was comfortable. I guess it's a 2-ton house then."
yeah, yeah. Well, and also, like, if you are using Measure Quick, if you've shown vitals reports to the homeowner, if you utilize that sort of thing, well, you also have to remember, unless you're going to fib and lie on your equipment setup within Measure Quick, when you go take those readings and you're going to have to give the homeowner a report. And so I mean, you need to be upfront beforehand with, hey, if we keep everything as is and we replace with another 3-ton system, don't expect 100% A plus grading on a brand new install when we get done.
Right, and if
You may
somebody
be a
comes
90.
after you and does measure quick, they're gonna make you look like a hack because 'cause you've just sold 3-ton system on a 2-ton ductwork. And so
Yeah,
you're really leaving your rear end exposed if you sell equipment that's too big to the ductwork.
yeah, yes. Like, I mean, that's something that is just, it's not a good idea no matter how you do it. So if it's not a good idea, then it needs to be their idea if they are not willing to listen. If they're
Right.
like, I don't care, this is exactly what I want, you have to be like, okay, well, just so you
A
know, this is a
and
bad
document.
idea, and this is your bad idea. Are
And
you
it's
okay
your
with
bad
signing off?
idea. We're documenting that this
Yeah,
was your specification, and we advised against it,
yeah,
or advised changing the ductwork.
and set it up in a way of going, if this becomes a problem that you have to address, just know the fix is going to be new ductwork. It could be $20,000, just
Right.
so you know. So that
Uh,
way, again, because you want to, like, preempt you want it to be, they know, uh,
in advance.
yeah, they know in advance what the possibilities are, and they know in advance what those possibilities look like.
Yeah. So, and I mean, even if the equipment doesn't work, you can measure the duct and give them a rough estimate.
Yeah,
And a lot of these guys, they're so familiar with the capacity of ductwork. I don't know how you guys do it, but just by looking at it, you can guess within half a ton or a ton what
Well, if
size
you
that
look
duct
at
is.
300 systems a year, it kind of
yeah,
starts happening. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah. So, the 3 HVAC 2.0 tiers all have reports that allow the homeowner to re-experience what was discussed at the visit. And this is kind of important because you're going to be going over a lot of information with them, and it may be overwhelming. So they may want to be able to chew on it afterwards. And the report also ends up being your documentation that of all of this information was that they were educated about the information and were given the opportunity to make their own decisions. The
Likely
HVAC
Load has actually changed our equipment setup in our price book, just so you know. Like our furnace BTUs are altered because of your likely load that you've put out.
Can you explain that a little bit further?
So like before, anytime we had a matchup, like a 3-ton, for instance, it'd either have an 80 or 90,000 BTU furnace with it. Now those are being paired with 60s and 70s.
Okay, and that's
based on likely load.
And how did likely load cause that to come about?
One of the owners of the company made it happen. I'm not allowed to say his name, but he asked me not to. But basically, he is part of the reason. He has seen likely load because this asshole sends him a bunch of messages all the time, messing with him. And he's actually integrated it into our pricing. Also, say we're going to do a furnace only now, and I go to this house. When I go to 80 or 90% of furnaces only, it has 1.5 ton, 2-ton, 3-ton, 4-ton, 5-ton furnaces. They're not labeled in BTUs until you open up that tonnage. And they did that for 2 reasons. One, because we want them to continue to lower size of capacity on these furnaces based on likely load. But they also are forcing these guys to look at the size of the air conditioner on furnace only estimates rather than just looking at the furnace. And it's actually helped us sell more full systems.
So
from them
so
doing
just
that.
so I'm understanding, your quoting software, you automatically configures the match, and most of the salespeople don't reconfigure the match. They just go with whatever the match is.
Exactly.
And so the owner was like, look, these matches that Ronnie and Austin are changing the matches all the time because they're wrong.
Well, these people have been more comfortable on average. So they're like, why don't we want more comfortable people, and we can sell smaller equipment for the same money too? So we're making, more money off of the
money, better sales, less callback, purgatory.
Yeah.
Right.
So less responsibility on breakdowns. I mean, everything has been, it's been a huge improvement across the board, and all this was based on likely load and from us showing that it's worked.
Oh, that's awesome. Right. So, and that took what, about a year and a half to input. Okay.
Yeah. And again, it's not like world changing, but I mean, we do a few thousand systems a year. I mean, that's pretty big deal, right? I mean,
right. And that's not just your branch. That's all the branches. So that's like 12,000 systems a year.
Yeah.
So,
and again, he did make a statement that he hope it all turns out for the better, because he's unresponsibly avoided responsibility in this.
He's setting it up so that that he's actually assumed some responsibility for sizing.
Yep.
And removed the responsibility from the sales guy who wasn't taking responsibility before anyway.
And it's also helped them. Austin even went and tested his brother's house, one of the owners, that's always had a 4-ton system in his house since 2008 when the house was built. And he's had 3 compressor failures since 2008. And I'm talking about like geothermal systems with compressor failures.
Ouch.
Good Lord.
So Austin went and tested his house, and then this was the first season that it has ran on a 3-ton. and the humidity control and the comfort has been exponentially better than it ever has been. And his energy usage just went down, actually.
Oh my gosh.
From putting the right, and they track all this on the controller. It's Infinity, so.
Right. Oh, do you want to tell your story?
Which one are we about, my house or?
Yeah. So Ronnie has been improving his house over the lifetime of his occupancy. And a number of years ago, he redefined his attic with spray foam, but his furnace was in the basement. And when he redid the attic with spray foam, he also put in an Infinity system that was much smaller than the system he took out. And the improvement in comfort went through the roof, to the extent that Ronnie said to me, I don't think this house could get a whole lot more comfortable. And then Ronnie's in the process of renovating his basement, which part of doing that was moving the equipment from the basement to the attic. And that move meant doing brand new ductwork and a duct design. And I'll let you pick it up from there, Ronnie. Did I lose him?
No, I had it muted. My kid was making noise, so I was trying to. So
I'm going to get you a rubber band gun.
Yeah. So we also so we put all new ductwork in the attic, and then I put a new controller in too. So I did have a B controller change to a C. I don't think that has much of a difference in change, but basically the humidity control has been a whole lot better since the relocation of the system.
You had to increase your thermostat set point because everybody was cold.
Yeah, and it's 74 in here now. We've always kept it 70, 72.
Also, I think you told me that you have reheat set for like something pretty low, like 48%.
I did. I bumped it up to 50.
But it never even gets close to that because it was running at 38.
Yes, yeah, and 40 and stuff like that. On rainy days, it'll get up and close to 50, and it'll use a little bit of that. But I think I used, like, since I've turned reheat on 2 months ago, I've used like $1.50 in reheat.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's crazy. You just need to cut it off and use a whole house dehumidifier. You'd save so much money if you did.
I still have these single pane 60s windows in this house.
Yeah, right. Yeah, not gonna matter. Windows stuff. But okay,
they make all the difference in the world.
They make all the difference. What are you talking?
Have you changed them in EDS and seen how much lower the load is with good windows?
Oh, geez. Is it bad?
It's huge how much different it is.
Oh, how absurd. Now, is that in Auditor or is that in Load Calc?
That's in Load Calc.
Well, so anybody using EDS Load Calc, you should throw it away right away. You either upgrade to Auditor or cancel your subscription, because all it's going to do is get you into trouble. Would you agree, Ronnie?
What is it?
Would you agree that all EDS, if you want to subscribe to EDS, you should get Auditor? Otherwise, you save the money.
You need to learn how to use it. You need to watch some videos and actually take a class. I think EDS actually holds a really good class that you could pay to go to. I personally think anybody that uses that software should take that class anyway, because if you don't, it's just like smoke and mirrors. You're just like showing a homeowner a shiny thing to sell something at that point.
Snake oil sales.
Yeah.
If you want to be an unethical salesperson, go for it.
It's like AC Renew, you know?
Okay, so HVAC free quote. This is really an educational and specification building step. 95% of leads will not require more than this because you'll get likely load range. Following the sales process, people have found that it significantly improves closing rates, job sizes, customer satisfaction, profit per job, disqualifies the competition, and dramatically reduces callbacks. A lot of this I'm hearing is feedback from you, Ronnie. So did I miss anything?
That all sounds right to me.
Okay. And would you say that using the free quote process, a lot of times homeowners say, why didn't anybody else explain any of this to me?
They say that, and they also say, "Wow, it's crazy you're asking all these questions because I've had other companies come in here and they'll send like a service guy in here, and you can tell they're just they think it's the difference between a salesperson and a service technician because they're like
Oh,
these guys aren't following any kind of process, and they're just like calling their boss and giving me a price, and they can't tell me what none of the functionality or what none of the stuff does or why I should buy a better one. Or they'll just tell me it's $17,000, and I'm like, well, what do I get for that? And they're like, you get a new unit.
right.
What more do you need to know?
What more do
Yeah.
you need to know?
People
Okay.
really don't enjoy. That'd be like me selling you a Tesla and saying, well, why is this Tesla 60 grand? Well, it's because Elon Musk said it was.
Yeah.
It's not because
Yeah.
it has full self driving or it
Yeah.
has white leather seats that are ventilated or whatever. You know what I mean? It's not
Right.
because it's 0
Yeah.
to 60 in 3.9
Full
seconds.
disclosure to everybody watching, between the three of us, we have 7 Teslas.
We've got a few.
So if what we're saying doesn't make sense, I apologize when we start to go off and you don't know anything about a Tesla and we start talking about a Tesla.
Well, it's technically 8 because you have one reserved, right?
Oh yeah, Tanner. When that came out on the day before the tax credit went away, Ronnie texted me that the performance car went live.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bastard.
I
Ronnie,
talked
you're
to
a
Ronnie.
bastard.
Yeah. Ronnie called me
told
on the
him.
phone and we was talking about it. And I was like, oh yeah.
Uh,
Because I seen it when it popped up. I was like, oh, that's
tempting.
We
very
literally had
tempting.
that conversation like 4 hours before that email came through.
Oh, that's funny.
Ted was like, if I could only reserve a performance car and know that I could transfer that, I would definitely be. And then it pops up, and I just screenshot it and send it. And then he's texting me like 10 minutes later a reservation number.
Yeah. Just send him a text, be like, you gonna talk about it, better be about it.
I just went straight to the B. So anyway, so the HVAC 2.0 Comfort Consult, which is really the first product we ever productized in our software. And Reedy's not here tonight, but Reedy also tracks his numbers pretty tight, and he was selling 30% Comfort Consult until we came out with a free quote. This is for homeowners who want a better understanding of their specific house, as opposed to an average house, their house's size. So the Comfort Consult allows homeowners to understand deficiencies of their house, low-hanging opportunities for improvement, infiltration, duct capacity, and load to within half a ton. The service typically includes measuring infiltration, insulation, duct static, some energy modeling, and truing energy load to energy consumption, which we use as kind of a reconciliation step to the load calc, because the energy the house uses will tell you that house's load. The seasonal energy that you can calculate from the seasonal energy use what the worst case load is on that house. So this process allows for a lot better understanding of the house and for the contractor to actually be willing to stand behind a load calc. And then of course there's the HVAC 2.0 comprehensive planning process, which you could make 1,000 sales and not run into one of these houses. But in order to do the comprehensive planning process, it's probably going to be around $5,000. This is for super rare basket case houses that require complex diagnostics and design, which includes modeling, cost benefit analysis, decision matrix, and a thorough Gantt chart with detailed work scopes and loading order. So
Could be as much as $8,000.
Yeah, could be a lot. House has to be a real basket case. The people love the house. They want to stay in it. They just don't want it to be a pain in the ass anymore. So again, this is the cooling likely load range. And in our software, you can explain to the people what their current size is, what the typical size is for houses their size. And then what we do is we break it into red, yellow, and green. And we encourage people, particularly if they're getting single stage equipment, to size to the green. And at the very worst, not to size beyond maximum duct capacity, because if you have single stage equipment and you size beyond maximum duct capacity, it's going to always be running beyond maximum duct capacity. Now,
Yep.
you get a little bit of flexibility if you sell two stage, but I wouldn't go too far away from this, because if the house is in the red for some reason, you probably got issues that even the best equipment isn't going to solve. That house probably needs something. It needs its attic redefined, or it needs its crawl space encapsulated. It needs some fixing. So, and again, if your maximum duct is 2 ton and you could spend less than the cost of new ductwork to make your house better, wouldn't you rather take on the risk that you might need to make your house better rather than replacing the ductwork so that it's sized to the wrong size equipment? I mean, one of the things we find is people with the wrong size equipment and the wrong size ductwork who tend to be uncomfortable end up fixing the house. And as you fix a house that has oversized equipment, your load moves over this way and your house gets less comfortable.
Yep.
And you find you're going to have to replace the equipment a second time because you shifted the load so much.
My house actually got less comfortable when we first spray foamed it because I had the other equipment running in it.
Thank you. And this is when I was first working through this was me sort of thinking about equipment sizes, runtime, energy use, blower door, and manual J. And what you realize is manual J has this really broad range.
You don't have Chat GBT on here. GPT.
I know. I don't know how to do slideshows anyway, and I don't want to become a slideshow.
No, I'm just saying. Expert. I'm just saying you can do a load calculation through AI now.
Oh yeah, sure.
I actually just sized the house with AI because the homeowner did, not me.
And how was it?
I mean, I think it's a ton over.
Okay. So if you're doing it with Chat GPT, your likely load range is going to be within 2 tons, probably.
He probably asked the question based with manual J, I would imagine, because
Right.
the numbers he sent me a report, and the numbers that were in there looked like it all looked manual J to me the way it was done.
Okay.
Oh, but I quoted him 3 and 4 ton and let him decide. I also quoted him hybrid and full electric, and he chose to go hybrid rather than full electric. So,
okay.
I am sizing the ductwork for 4.5 tons though, and it's a 4-ton system.
So he's getting brand new duct.
He's getting brand new everything. They totally blew this house out and redoing it. So,
okay.
But he's also spray foaming the house.
Oh boy.
But he's getting fresh air. He's getting ductwork. He's getting bad drop. He's getting modulating. He's getting variable speed outdoor unit.
So he'll probably only be uncomfortable on load days.
I don't know that he'll ever be uncomfortable.
He might never be uncomfortable in a house like that.
14,000 BTUs, and he's got to have fresh air, so he'll probably be okay.
Yeah.
He may never have to use gas heat though. That big heat pump.
Right. And he won't have reheat. Oh, well.
He definitely won't. I actually 1, 2, 3, 4 the estimates. Number 1 was 3-ton electric. Number 2 was 4-ton electric. Number 3 was 3-ton hybrid. Number 4 was 4-ton hybrid.
Okay.
And he went for number 4.
Okay. So he owns it.
And we have emails back and forth. And he actually emailed me his load. I have it too.
Yeah. So, and this is how I would size under this circumstance. I would disregard the manual J if the energy use and blower door, if the energy use lines up with a tight blower door.
I think he'll be tight too, based on the company that's doing the work. They're a good company, so.
Right. This was what we used originally to create our likely load. Now you just do it right in the software, so you don't have to go to a spreadsheet. The other thing that we tell homeowners is about the 6 functions of HVAC: load matching, filtration, dehumidification, fresh air, right place at right time, and humidification.
Mm-hmm.
And that gets connected to the report, which shows them the type of equipment. So these end up being represented as smiley faces here, and they can choose whether they want no smiley faces or all smiley faces or something in between. I saved this for Ronnie. That's his license plate. Here's another. I don't know what's going on with this slide, but these are the 2 tables that you can build your smiley faces from. First table will be the 6 functions choices, and the second one is building your specification so that you can narrow in on which smiley faces they want and which smiley faces they don't, and end up getting their specification. And this comfort curve came from Carrier, and this is something that Carrier used to explain to people the problem of cycling. If you can get the equipment to just replace the heating or cooling lost by the house, you can get the equipment to run continuous, and that ends up being a whole lot more comfortable for people than having the equipment come on and come off. This is how it looks in the report. Likely load, current equipment, lean towards the green, an explanation of that, and then cooling, same thing for the cooling side sizing, also with the maximum duct capacity. Would you like to replace your ductwork? Sometimes you can do just some minor modifications. I think both of you guys probably do minor modifications to the ductwork almost every time, don't you?
Yeah, and a lot of them do, like bad drops or filter cabinets or raising furnaces. I mean, usually with dropping on a few BTUs in a lot of cases too.
Yeah. This is another way of expressing sort of narrowing in.
It's also made it a little simpler since we did the change in our price book as well. Because when I'm open this in front of homeowners, I'm like, yeah, you have a 2-ton. You need a 2-ton furnace.
Oh, so it goes straight there. Oh, so he's really helped you in your sales process a lot. Did you thank him?
I did.
Okay.
Did
he appreciate that?
Oh,
what's
yeah.
that?
He appreciates it, but he's doing it for the greater good of the company, you know?
Right.
But it is making my job easier.
That's awesome. So, and then this is also another funnel. It's the intelligence funnel, which, you know, if you do a manual J and you just base it on noise, it's really wide. If you do a little bit of data, a little bit of information, some intelligence, eventually you get yourself to actionable intelligence. Let's see, was there anything else I guess that's it. I haven't done one of these slideshows in a long time.
Well, it's right at 9 o'clock, man. You did it perfect.
Oh, good. You guys want to talk about anything else, or should we go? Oh, well, so 45 minutes. We could go to after, unless you have any other experiences to share with the general public.
I don't have anything new.
Nothing new.
I don't think the interesting story I have, I would probably talk to
The public about.
the public about.
Okay. Well, except you're going to start training people on the free quote process.
Yeah, I'm going to be training them to do that and to do comfort consults.
And to do comfort consults. Okay. If they're able to make it through and do free quote.
Yeah.
Well,
we've actually put together a plan, and they basically have to go through the onboarding process to become a comfort consultant.
Okay. Okay. Well, good. So that won't be a nightmare for you.
Yeah, they're calling it the WHCC initiative.
WHCC initiative.
Which is Whole Home Comfort Consultant, by the way.
Okay.
That was not I did not name that.
They love their acronyms.
Yeah.
Makes it sound like they're working.
Makes it sound fancier for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Tanner. Well, wrap it up and let's go to the after party.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming back out. We'll catch you again in 2 weeks. Appreciate you coming. Catch you next time.